Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a king who had 3 beautiful daughters. All of the king's daughters were good, loving, and kind, and the king was really proud of all of 3. Their kindness was indisputable because they were not envious, they loved each other, and they treated everyone with affection and sympathy. One day, the king wanted to test the 3 daughters' love. He gathered them and asked each one how great their love for him was. First, the king spoke to his eldest daughter and asked her, "Dear daughter, I know you are kind, and I know you love me. But I'd like you to tell me how much you love me." The eldest of his daughters replied, "Father, I love you very much. I love you as much as all the gold and silver in this world." The happy king replied, "Thank you, daughter. I had no doubt of your love." Then the king spoke to his middle daughter and asked her, "Dear daughter, I know you are kind, and I know you love me. But I'd like you to tell me how much you love me." The middle daughter replied, "Father, I love you very much. I love you as much as all the diamonds and precious stones in this world." The happy king replied, "Thank you, daughter. I had no doubt of your love." Finally, the king spoke to his youngest daughter and asked her, "Dear daughter, I know you are kind and I know you love me, but I'd like you to tell me how much you love me." The youngest daughter replied, "Father, I love you very much. I love you like salt." The king could not believe what his ears had heard. Salt, the most common and simple thing in this world. How can my daughter love me like salt? The king was very angry and he imprisoned his youngest daughter in a cold and dark dungeon in his palace. He couldn't believe that his youngest daughter was so mean to love him so very little. The daughter spent many long days, weeks, and even months in the dark dungeon. Later, on a beautiful spring day, a large feast was held in the king's palace. Utensils covered with gold and silver were set on the table. Cups and plates filled with diamonds and gemstones were brought on. The king ordered his royal chef to prepare the best dishes for his guests. Everything was very well prepared for the party. The king and his guests sat down at the table to eat the great feast. But from the very little first bite, the king and his guests hated those delicacies. What happened? The meal looked delicious, but tasted absolutely bland. The angry king demanded the royal chef give him an explanation. The royal chef stand in front of the king and said, "Majesty without salt. Fantastic delicacies tastes bad, even if they are on your best, most beautiful dinnerware. You know, the most common and simple thing can also be the most important. Without insignificant but important things, everything else becomes empty and worthless. Your daughter is imprisoned in the top of that cold dungeon because she loves you with all that simplicity and humility. Her love is deep and true." The king understood what he had done and felt really ashamed. He ordered that his youngest daughter be released from the dungeon and wholeheartedly apologized. The king learned from his youngest daughter that insignificant things can also be the most valuable. Only by appreciating those little things can one also appreciate the very best of everything else. Days later, the king's youngest daughter and the royal chef got married. That beautiful day, the king gave them the throne of his kingdom because the king understood that kindness and compassion are the best qualities to rule a prosperous and rich kingdom. Appreciating the value of humble and simple things make us better appreciate everything else. Happiness depends on how well you appreciate the things that you have